We are at Corner Office. Oh, looks like we just started. Welcome, everybody. We are at Corner Office Chats today with Maureen and Alexis. And the topic today that we're going to be talking about is starting your day with a CEO mindset. Alexis and I, we love this topic because we want to know what is going on in that CEO mindset. And we're always curious what's happening. We're always looking at what more could we even add into our own mindset, and really owning and creating the structures in our life so that we're always up-leveling our game. And if that resonates with you, then this is the topic that you want to join in, where we're going to be talking about the CEO mindset. So Alexis, think about when people are sitting in that corner office, right? And now we're all virtual, so maybe it's a corner office, maybe in their house or maybe in the middle of the living room, but they're running a, business, right? Right. Or maybe
this is my corner office.
Yeah, that's right. Same here. I'm literally in a corner in a home office, with a guest bed next to me. You guys can't see it. But what is it that it takes for that CEO to have that mindset so that they're really creating something in the world? Because I'm thinking like Amazon, I'm thinking Tesla, I'm thinking like these world-renowned CEOs. What do you think it took them and to create that mindset to get where they are?
Yeah, I think I love the conversation about morning routines. I know how important they are. I know how critical they can be to anybody's game plan. But I think if I had to just choose one word that would best describe a CEO mindset for me, it would be intentional. I think that the most successful CEOs, the most successful leaders in any area are extremely mindful and intentional, mindful about how important their time is, and intentional with how they use it every single day. And I would guess that this is one of the ways that they start their morning in terms of thinking ahead of the day, thinking what the priorities are, or thinking where their efforts are going to be best spent, and thinking future as well. Right? And how today's actions are going to cause a better tomorrow. That's where I always stem from when it comes to morning routines and how to start a day. I have some best practices that have changed over my life, depending on what stage of life I'm in. And I think it's all about getting a groove and figuring out what works for you in your stage of life or in the situation that you're in, and how does it best set you up for an intentional and mindful day?
Excellent point is being very intentional. That's really what it takes. You have to be absolutely clear what it is that you want, right? And you want to create, what that vision is. And then what I also think is that they create the structures. Well, I know that that's what works, is that creating the structures and really getting in tuned with what skills that you have, like get very clear what skills you have. What is it that's missing that you could probably gain, like by maybe taking a course or up-leveling that skill set that you need. And it's also surrounding yourself with a team that, closes that gap that you may have. So I think those are some of the key things that CEOs bring in. I know, as a leader myself, that's what I look for, and that's what's driven the team to success, is that they know what they're capable of doing, right? Under a leadership that's coaching them. They're capable of knowing what they're able to do, what steps they need to take, and they also are aligned with the vision. What I've seen in corporate America is leaders will be demanding and trying to create something, like they're pushing the people, like do this and do this and do this, but there's no alignment on the vision. Like people, if you would ask them, the team members, why is it that you're doing that? I don't know. They just want me to do this all the time. I don't understand. So I think sometimes that's the gap, And having that CEO mindset is understanding that whatever your vision is anyone who's on your team or in your business or that you're leading, that they really get the vision of what you're creating. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, depending on where you are in your, your professional journey right now, that is so true if you're leading a team, is making sure that you're connected with the vision, but also that you're communicating that vision regularly, right? Mm-hmm. I always go back to like my kids and the fact that how many times you have to tell your kids over and over multiple times to do things before they listen. As adults, we're not much better. So you have to communicate that vision over and over with your team in different words, in the same words. You have to be connected with it. And I think that's so true if that's your sort of position now as a CEO. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, you may not have that team right away. You have to make sure you're connecting with the vision so that you know the direction that you're going and the actions that you need to take. And for me, being in that position now, I mean, I connect with you. We connect all the time and talk about what's important and where we're headed. But for me as well, I connect every single morning. That is a habit that I've put into place. I've talked about it before. And I write down exactly what I'm working towards, so I don't lose sight of it when there's no one else here to continue to remind me of it. And so that's a practice that I've put into place that I've found extremely powerful, especially this year when it's easy to sort of lose track of those goals that you set for yourself, on January 1st, 2020. Because I had that practice, I was still in those goals every single day. Whether I made a movement on them or not, I was still connected to them and to the vision. And I felt that was really important for everything that I accomplished over the last, 11 months. So I absolutely love that idea about connecting to that vision and making sure that it's communicated well to your team or even to yourself.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like that whole vision board, right? People create vision boards, and who doesn't believe in vision boards? I mean, if you haven't tried it, it's really, really powerful. There's something that you can say in words, but there's that you can express better in pictures. I was in this training course that we actually were asked to collage. I shared those with you. And it was not only just about creating the vision of what the business would look like, but the feeling you would have in that, standing in that corporation, standing as a CEO. What is the feeling and community you're going to create? And that was so powerful because I was able to express in pictures what it meant that people are happy, that people are limitless, that people feel peace, or people feel, feel connected. And to really express that in words, I remember when I shared it with you, you were also like, I get it. Like it was saying it in words, what happiness or peace may look like for me may resonate with you differently. So I think it's really important when we're thinking about that vision is also attaching the emotion to it and creating some kind of vision so that people get the view of it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And you reminded me of, so I worked with, when I was back in the corporate arena, and my boss, he was significantly older than me at the time. And I remember telling him about vision boards, and he looked at me and was like, Alexa, I'm a 55-year-old man. Do you think I'm going to cut pictures out of a magazine? And I remember being like, no, but it's so good. And he was not having it. And so I said to him, okay, how about this? Change your, what is it called? Your screensaver on your computer. Grab a few images, right? And we made a custom screensaver, and with the same ideas of the things that he was working towards in his life. I'm like, no scissors, no glue is going to be involved in this. Don't worry. And I said, and just do me a favor, leave it on your screen for a week, right? A week. And so I had to help him do it because he was like, how do I create a custom? Anyways, we did it. got it on there. And after about 3 days, he was like, he came into my office and he said, what did he say? I don't think I can repeat what he said, but essentially he was like, I'm going to remove the foot out of my mouth, because he says, it's been like 3 days. He says, I don't know why. I don't know what's changed. He's like, but every time I see that, I get this like surge of energy. And I was like, you see, like, he's like, I'm not going to admit defeat, but I'll give you this one kind of thing. And it's true though. It's just about, life gets so busy. There's so many distractions from like coming at us at every angle, at every turn, at every step. So we need to put those structures in place for us to reconnect with those goals, to reconnect with those stretch goals, those big dreams that we have. Because before you know it, a year passes, 2 years pass, 3 years pass, a decade passes, right? My son, we just started karate. And since I was in my early 20s, I have said, I want to take a martial art for myself, for defense, to build confidence in that area. And every New Year's Eve, this is on my resolution for, I'm not even kidding you, 2 decades. I've done classes here and there, but then I never keep it. And this year I've been writing it in my journal, and I'm starting it in January with my son. It's happening, right? Like, so one of those things, if you're not connected to it, so much time can pass and you don't even realize. And then you wake up and you're like, whoa, how am I, I'm 30 something, 40 something, 50 something. And how have I not accomplished this yet? Right? Big or small. So I think with, really getting in tune with how you're setting up your day allows you to get in tune with how you're setting up your week, your month, your quarter, your year, and you start connecting and achieving those big goals, not because you're any more productive or not because you're, anything else has shifted, other than you're intentional with your time and you're starting to focus on the things that matter. And I think that is how those really successful, those top 2%, they're in tune with where they're going. So they're in tune every single day with what can I do, big or small actions, what little thing can I take to move me ahead because I'm connected.
Yeah, it comes back to being intentional with purpose. Comes back to that. And what I'm also getting from that is, who are you going to surround yourself by, right? It's what kind of structure are you going to put in place so that you have a community that's supporting you, and in turn you're supporting them, because it's that reciprocity. It's that reciprocity that starts to happen. I'm laughing because I usually stumble on that word, and I this is the second or third time I said it this week, and I actually said it correctly.
You nailed it, girl.
So, I think that starts to happen, and being, intentional, and it's also not being just in here, but being out there. Look at what some of these inventions happened, like Steve Jobs creating the iPhone that we're so connected to, right? He knew that some people wanted something that they could always be connected to. And he himself, I think, would never use the iPhone or use social media. I mean, I hear Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't even get on Facebook because he knows the consumption of it, right? We fall into that consumption. So, and here we are on Facebook Live, right? And what they're in tune to is what they see a vision. They see a vision for what the world needs or is looking for, right? And so they start to operate from that distinction, from there, rather than just keep everything in their head and be focused on themselves, right? So when you have that CEO mindset, make sure that you have the community that also connects with other people. Like, what is it? What is the need being out here? And I'll be really blunt about this, but it starts with knowing who you are first. Think about it. If you're not clear on who you are and what direction you're going, Alexis, if we don't know who we are, where we're going, how do you connect in your relationships? How do you connect with your team? How do you connect? You can't. There's a disbalance.
Totally. There is that disconnect.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there is that disconnect, right? And whenever there is a disconnect, and then there's confusion, and a confused mind stops, right? And I put a post on my Instagram today that was talking about progress over perfection. And, I encourage my audience today to just take a step, big, small. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. It doesn't matter if it's messy. Take that step, take that action, because nothing is going to happen, without any action. You're going to be in the same position. So even if you took one messy step forward, you still move forward that much. And I love, I don't claim to know everything about, Apple and that whole journey, but I do know a little bit in that, Steve Jobs and his partner were very focused on one thing, which was connection. And they never strayed from that, right? They have some of the best technology in the world. Like, they're a leader in, the mobile technology and all of that. They could have gone in so many different directions and been successful, but they didn't. They stayed true to their original vision, which was connecting people. I remember seeing a commercial now, and I remember being very powerful. I can't think of it, but to go into it, but it was all about connecting people. And I feel like that has been their message from day one, and they never strayed, even though they could have, and they could have been successful. I don't think they would have reached the height that they are now by going off in 1,000 directions. Mm-hmm. And I think that is part of that mindset to get yourself that top tier.
Yeah, no, excellent. So what I'm thinking is, to close this, conversation off, at the end is, it's really about focusing on that one big vision, not going here and there, right? Being intentional and purpose with what it is that you're creating, making sure that you have the community that's enrolled in what you're doing, being clear in who you are and how you're being around it, right? And that compounding effect of taking one step forward each day, right? Building that momentum from that one step forward. Anything else to add to that?
Yeah, and just being intentional every single day, even if it's a Saturday, You're intentional. Maybe Saturday is your only time with your family, real quality time. So being intentional of that, like, whenever we're talking, guys, we're not just talking professional, even though that is a lot of times our focus. This is consistent. This is how I show up. I show up presently when I'm with my kids. I show up presently when I'm with my girlfriends, when I show up presently when I'm at work, when I'm here with you. Nothing else is distracting me. So carrying that intention through all those different aspects of your life allows you to have that cohesion and allows you to show up more powerfully when you need to generate that kind of energy, that kind of presence or focus on a particularly important day.
Excellent. So to wrap it up, this was our topic today on Corner Office Chats, was the CEO mindset. Starting your day with that CEO mindset and what it takes. So if you had any questions or comments, or really liked what we talked about, or you want us to talk about any other topic in our upcoming, every Thursday, we're on at 2:15 Eastern, and we bring in topics that you guys care about, us to address. Put it in the chat, DM us, you know where to find us. Our website is goalsetcoach.com. And if, for those of you who are maybe just now tuning in, we are in the middle of running our 5-day workshop. If you haven't joined in or registered, it's not too late. The recordings are still up. We did just complete, day 4, but we have more coming. Excuse me. Go ahead.
We've got more coming. Stay tuned. Tomorrow you can catch up and Netflix style binge watch all of the sessions we've completed so far, and we've got some great content coming up throughout the weekend. So stay tuned for that, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you're enjoying, what you'd love to see. Connect with us. We've got so many ways that you can connect with us, as Maureen mentioned. So don't be shy. We'd love to hear from you.
Thanks so much, Alexis. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Have a great day.